to be good.
It is good. I'm super excited for this game, this final game. Both players are fantastic, and both deserve a spot. We'll have to see who can advance.
I can't wait to see who advances, to be honest. I think whoever does will be well deserving of it because they both played really well. They've done some really good holds, but straight away, introducing the two players down in the bottom right position, we have the green Zerg player representing Team Dignitas. It's Tefel. And in the top left position, his opponent, the orange Protoss from MVP, TAiLS.
I call him waste. Good Protoss map. I'm glad that TAiLS chose it. We'll have to see what he is wanting to do with this build. I mean, will he open with a gateway? So we didn't see game one, so we don't know, and we haven't seen him at all today, so we don't know what his style is. Do you think he's going to open with a gateway expand, a forge fast expand? We'll have to see. I mean, he's pretty unknown to us right now. We haven't seen any of him play today.
No, we haven't seen any of his play today, but of course, we do see that there is the pylon in the main base. He went for a gateway expand in game 2. We don't know what happened in game 1 because we jumped into this series halfway through, and therefore, what we really need to watch is what he's going to be doing. Of course, we saw Todd against Johnny Rico go for the Forge in the main before taking the expansion, but TAiLS sticking to what he knows, what he likes, and is therefore going to be going for that gateway. The spawning pool on its way out for Tefel, very normal looking builds at the moment, and that is just great. And ultimately, I think we don't really have too much to worry about because everything is looking fairly safe, fairly secure, and ooh, a second gas being taken here by TAiLS. Okay, so this means that he's going to be teching quite heavily, probably going to put 2 probes on each gas sawyer.
Yeah, well, like you said, all this means is he's still going to be expanding, guys. He's just going to get up that extra gas, expand, and then he'll be able to tech much quicker than normal. Unless he's doing like a weird 4-gate, which hopefully he's not, but
hopefully he's not. And I think the big thing that we will probably see is a Mothership Core out fairly soon. That's the main thing you get off of these two. You can put on some nice pressure as well. Tefel, he's got his Overlord nearly at the natural now, and that's when he'll see that there is no Nexus. And the important thing that if you see that there's no Nexus there, ultimately you're able to get a very quick read on what your opponent's doing. It's going to be some one-base pressure. You no longer have to worry about taking your third super fast. Instead, you get the gas, which we already see coming down from Tefel. He'll get speed out, may even throw a very fast Roach Warren down to try and defend. It all depends on how much pressure he presumes is coming, but this is where the reveal comes, and this is where Tefel will respond to. The Mothership Core just getting started. Warp Gate tech also on its way down. Where will the Chrono Boost be spent?
We'll have to keep an eye on it. He's been still using it on probes for the most part, and it looks like he will be expanding, so it's just going to be an expand tech build. Pretty normal. I'm curious to see what tech he's going to go. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went for Robo again and went for like an Immortal play. But the early Sentry also supports the Stargate. I don't know. This is weird. This is definitely a different opener than the players are used to seeing.
And I think that these sort of more unusual openers can throw people off guard, but as we can see at the moment, speed coming down, drones coming out, ultimately Tefel, all he's got to check is that what kind of pressure is coming in. And ultimately, if you don't see any pressure on the way, you drone and you take a third. If you do see pressure, then obviously you need to make more units. But in terms of what Tefel's seen at the moment, he knows the natural Nexus is coming out, so therefore knows it isn't going to be some kind of one base all-in. And ultimately, he shouldn't have too much to worry about. Yet.
Forge just about to finish, or halfway done, so we're going to be able to get that +1. A cannon on the way soon. I don't know, man. This is... I'm curious to see where he's going with this timing attack. Usually with the fast double gas, you rush to tech. You super rush to tech, but he's just been spending that gas on sentries right now. Going to be starting +1 soon as well. Probably as soon as that fork finishes. I mean, this is just his own unique style. I really want to see what tech... I'm starting to throw Robo right now with this many sentries being pumped out. But, I don't know, man. This is a really weird build. I'm curious to see how well it's going to be executed.
Well, ultimately,
Yeah,
it's not too much to worry about at the moment. Tefel has got a good number of speedlings out on the field, so he's going to really just come and poke up there, realise that there is a complete wall-off, and therefore he shouldn't have to worry too much. The force field may not even be needed here, but probably will just with so many more Zerglings there, but actually, no, not being used. Tefel just pulling back with the Mothership Core, shooting away more warpins, but he gets a good read, sees lots of sentries. That's an important thing to note, knowing where it's all coming from. We've also got +1 on its way. Tefel immediately starts his Roach Warren. No third base yet, though, for the Zerg player, and that's the important thing to note, because if he doesn't get that down soon, he will get economically behind. TAiLS already at 36 probes to 41 drones.
Is he just going to do an expand build and take a fast third? Like, there's still no tech from TAiLS. This is such a I don't know if I want to call it weird, but it's such a different build. I mean, I don't see him doing a sentry. If he actually moves out with sentries and Zels and does a push, I'd be really shocked. That would be bizarre, and that looks like what he's wanting to do. I hope he's just like feigning aggression and going to recall back home. But still, even if he was doing that, he would still want some tech at this point.
Yeah, you need something behind this ultimately, because let's face it, this push is coming across, but Tefel's Roach Run is now done. He's got 6 Roaches already on its way out. There's really just Zealots and Sentries in this composition. There's not a single Immortal out on the field, because obviously there's no robotics facility. There's only 3 gates. What is TAiLS hoping to achieve with this, when there's going to be so many units here for Tefel? Admittedly, there's a mass recall, but I can't see a situation where that's not going to be needed.
Good force fields go down, catching a small pinch of these units. Spine Crawlers should be turning down. More force fields going down. Not the best ones there. There we go, catching a lot of these Roaches against the wall of those force fields there. Drones are being picked off as well. This is just a small attack force. Now, robotics facility was built back home. Recall it back home. He's going to sacrifice those 2 poor Zealots. Very unfortunate, but the sentries do end up living. And I don't know, +1 armor's on the way. Already has that +1 attack. Will we see a third base, or is he just going to follow up with an Immortal all-in?
Judging from Game 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of Immortal all-in. But look at Tefel, he's just got so many units down on the field. He can knock out those rocks at the back should he want to, and actually start looking to put on a bit of pain. Whereas, obviously, Tefel, he's got those 3 bases quite nicely up. He's getting the double evolution chamber. Meanwhile, TAiLS is trying to get down his robotics bait, tech up into Colossi. He's getting down the +1 armor. No upgrades yet for Tefel, but he's going to be starting double upgrades soon. The Lynx can't make it through. There is a gateway completing that wall off, which is good news. The Mothership Core also sees it coming, and therefore, not too much to worry about at the moment for TAiLS, who, taking out those rocks, really is gearing towards taking a third base. But the thing is, he's got 4 more gateways coming out as well, and those 4 additional gateways are going to soak up a lot of his resources, but I think he should still take and expand.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer to, and I think that's what he's doing. He's getting Thermal Lance right now in going to the Robo Bay. It'd be really weird if he were to not expand. Like, what is he going to do? Like a 2 Immortal, 2 Colossus, 2 base all-in? That'd just be weird, man. We'll have to see, though. He's delaying this Nexus for so long. He's got the minerals to build it. TAiLS is creative, man. He's got these little wonky builds that if you're scouting properly, you're going to be confused as hell as what's going on, that's for sure.
It's really... Ultimately, if you read this as Tefel, you'd see the units down here, you'd see the probe there, and you'd be like, okay, I guess that it's going to be a third base. But he needs to confirm that it either has or hasn't gone down, because that's the really important thing. He didn't see a pylon or any sort of commitments like that. And ultimately, with these rock towers going down, he needs to scout it. So actually, at the top, we see that Tefel is getting ready to... Well, he's got the Overlord there, so he can come and check in. There's also Swarm Hosts coming out, which, without any Colossi on the field at the moment, other than just the one that's joining the army shortly, it won't be too hard to really hold off this force with a couple of Swarm Hosts. But you need a good number of them, and currently there's only 5 down.
Second Colossus about to pop out. Hive on the way. A lot of Swarm Hosts here for our Zerg player. He's about to have that 1-1 finished up as well. Income tab shows 75 drones to 54 probes. Here we go. Is there an observer with this army? He never built an observer, so he can't call off these Swarm Hosts. He's just now starting his first one.
And of course, as we can see, these Swarm Hosts are going to start doing some nice damage if they can't get taken down. But the problem is, once that Observer comes over, it will be a bit of a problem. There's not that many Swarm Hosts either. That means the Locusts aren't coming out in sort of the critical mass you need. A couple of units getting taken out here and there. But to be honest, with just so many units, TAiLS is gaining momentum. And against these Swarm Hosts, once the Observer does make it over, and it is coming across the map as I speak, it shouldn't be too tough for TAiLS to knock these out.
And when your supply is this close, it's pretty bad for the Zerg player. He's got 9 more Roaches on the way. Supply 111 to 135. Observer, not here just yet. Just splash damage from the Locust taken from the Colossus. Nice time warps to zone these out, and there goes the Observer. All these swarm motes are going to go down, and then we go seeing TAiLS take a supply lead for the first time in this game, and I think this is going to be GG Mattles. I do not see Tefel holding this off with just roaches and moves.
There's 2 Colossi out ultimately, a lot of Stalkers. Upgrades are 1-1 at both sides, so they are equal there. Some Spinecallers desperate to try and go down, but this third is certainly going to fall. There is a Mothership Core as well, which did actually just use its Time Warp, so no energy for a mass recall there. But yeah, the third, it's going to go down. Tefel, once he loses that third base, is in a tremendous amount of problems, and that's ultimately due to the fact that he needs that additional base, knows he can't hold it. GG, well played comes out. That means that the final best of 3 of the day is going to be between MVP TAiLS and John.